Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a mother vanishes without a trace. 7 years later, family fights for answers and justice.
How Hill Country leaders' response and miscommunications are driving new flood legislation.
Plus, the clock is ticking on Trump's trade deadline, how tariffs on Canada, India, and Brazil could impact global relations, and what's next with China.
A little bit of moisture is sneaking down the Texas coast, coming in from Louisiana. As you see it right about there, it'll be around tomorrow, and I think it's going to give us a couple of showers. We'll be talking about that coming up in a moment.
And tomorrow night, a big event is happening at the Victoria Community Center. We'll highlight what this is later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
A Seadrift mother vanishes without a trace, and 7 years later, her family is still fighting for answers.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman joins us with the story. Amaya?
Yes, it's been 7 years since Susie Escobedo, a young mother, went missing from her mobile home in Seadrift, as her family is still fighting for justice. Today, we shed light on her story and another painful anniversary. Susie Escobedo was a loving mother of two, a daughter, sister, niece, and cousin, described by her family as playful and caring. Susie was 25 when she disappeared on August 1st, 2018. Today, she would be 32 years old. She was last seen at her mobile home in Seadrift, where she lived with her husband and their 4-month-old baby. On the day she disappeared, Susie exchanged text messages with a few relatives, but all communication stopped after 1 p.m. Her husband returned home for work around 7 p.m. to find their infant daughter alone. Susie's personal belongings were left behind. Her family reported her missing that same day. Her family expresses she wouldn't just leave her baby behind. Later, it was reported that Susie was last seen at Bayside Express, a local convenience store. Her loved ones say they didn't feel enough was being done by the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, so her uncle, Jose Vallejo, launched his own investigation, interviewing neighbors and witnesses. Frustrated by what they called a lack of communication from law enforcement, Susie's family sought help from the League of United Latin American Citizens. We reached out to Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. They tell us there's no new updates on Susie's case at this time, but her family refuses to give up. 7 years later, her loved ones continue to hold on to hope, hoping for answers and praying for justice. It's been 7 long years of heartbreak and unanswered questions for Susie's family. But through every passing anniversary, their message remained the same. They won't stop searching until they find out what happened to her. And if you have any information that could help in this case, contact the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Every tip could be one step closer to justice. Shauna and Don, back to you.
This brings us to tonight's viewer poll. Would you support a state-level task force that's dedicated to finding long-term missing persons in a similar case as with Susie Escobedo? Yes, it's needed, maybe depending on the cost, or do you feel that local police should handle all missing person cases? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And it's inched up more and more throughout the night. Yes, that a state level task force is needed for cases like this. So continue voting, and thanks to everyone who weighed in. All right, well, Mac, I picked up my dinner tonight, and the curbside person said, this is perfect weather. It's not too hot, not too cool. So that was right kind of as the sun was coming down.
Yeah, the evening was not bad at all. I mean, it was, and you know, we've had some real nice sunset because of the cloud structure. But we've been watching the moisture coming in from Louisiana. You can see it right there. They actually had some shower activity in the Houston area, but that has collapsed for now. But if you look upstream, there's more coming, and that moisture will be visiting the crossroads as soon as tomorrow, and I think we're going to get a few showers. We'll talk about that and take a good look at it coming up in a moment.
Mac, thank you. And now to an update of the deadly floods in the Texas Hill Country earlier this month.
Lawmakers holding a hearing today seeking answers. Nick Notario from our ABC affiliate KTRK was there.
Texas House and Senate held a hearing looking to pass flood legislation.
Alert systems, communication to make sure people can actually communicate with one another, making sure that the money's there to help with the disaster relief.
The meeting wasn't only just about bills, but accountability. For more than 3 hours, they questioned local leaders about their response. The Kirk County judge says he was asleep during the emergency. The county emergency leader was sick, and another just retired. The sheriff told lawmakers at 3:30 in the morning the first call for someone on the roof came in. About an hour later, firefighters asked for a code red alert. However, the sheriff says it took nearly 40 minutes until it was issued. That was at 5:01 in the morning.
But for whatever reason, in this moment, there was nobody to properly sound the alarm. Is that what I'm hearing?
They did not send the code red.
It took a while, though, to get to those hard questions. For the first couple of hours, much of the testimony centered on the good local leaders did that day. Fearing it may take hours to testify, some neighbors left.
They should have had the people speak for it. There's 100 of them. Then they can react to it and solve their, no. They're still patting themselves on the back.
State lawmakers will now head back to Austin, where they're in the middle of a special session. They don't have a lot of time, though, to work on flood legislation. The special session wraps in about 3 weeks. In Kirk County, Nick Notario, ABC News.
Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell are introducing a bill to expand and improve federal weather radio in the wake of the devastating Hill Country flooding. This comes after Cruz voted in favor of the spending mega bill that rescinded funds for NOAA. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. Tonight, President Trump's self-imposed deadline is set to hit when countries must reach trade deals with the U.S. or face high tariffs.
ABC's Alex Stone has the latest.
The new announcement coming just hours before President Trump's midnight deadline. The White House announcing this modification furthers a reciprocal tariff rate against nearly 70 countries. Earlier, the president announcing the U.S. and Mexico have an agreement to extend for 90 days a 25% tariff agreement as trade talks between the two countries continue. Late on Thursday, the White House announcing the president signed an executive order increasing the tariff on Canada to 35%, though exempting many goods covered by the existing trade deal with Canada.
We've sent out 17 letters to countries around the world, and the rest of those countries that either do not have a deal or have a letter, they will be hearing from this administration.
This week, the president also announced a new preliminary trade deal with South Korea, both sides agreeing on a 15% tariff on South Korean goods, down from 25% that President Trump threatened. The deal includes cars and electronics. Democrats on Capitol Hill say the deals are no good and are not what the president claims them to be.
Yesterday, Trump announced a deal with South Korea, and it's very similar to the deals we saw in the past with Japan and EU. All talk, no substance, and raising costs for the average American.
India's trade minister told that country's parliament on Thursday, in light of U.S. tariffs, India will take all necessary steps to secure its own interests. President Trump announced a 25% tariff on all products from India, and still there is no trade deal with China.
I believe that we have the makings of a deal.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling CNBC the Chinese are tough negotiators. A panel of appeals court judges hearing arguments on Thursday voiced deep skepticism about President Trump's sweeping tariffs. A group of small businesses and states are arguing the president has overstepped his authority. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A disciplinary board in Washington, D.C. is recommending disbarment for Jeffrey Clark, a former Trump Justice Department official, over his role in trying to overturn the 2020 election. Clark was an assistant attorney general at the time. The panel found he drafted a letter that falsely questioned election results and tried to pressure DOJ leaders to send it to state officials. The board says Clark violated ethical standards and that disbarment would send a clear message that such conduct is unacceptable. The D.C. Court of Appeals will have the final say.
A federal judge in Tennessee is warning the Trump administration to tone down public comments about Kilmar Abrego Garcia to protect his right to a fair trial. The move follows a press conference where Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called Abrego Garcia a monster and made other insulting remarks. His lawyers say comments like that could influence potential jurors. Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported earlier this year, but returned in June to face human smuggling charges. He has pleaded not guilty. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a new move from the FDA, how prescription opioid labels are changing and what it means for millions of Americans.
Also ahead, vaccine rates drop among kindergartners, why experts worry about rising exemptions and measles risks. Israel is facing increasing international pressure to end the war in Gaza as the humanitarian situation deteriorates.
The hunger crisis growing as efforts to deliver more food by air and land are proving difficult, chaotic, and often deadly. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers with the details.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Israel today, meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The two meeting for the first time since negotiation teams from both the U.S. and Israel left Qatar a week ago, when Witkoff said Hamas, quote, shows a lack of desire for a ceasefire.
Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee had a very productive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and other officials today in Israel on the topic of delivering much-needed food and aid to Gaza.
Relatives of hostages still being held in Gaza protesting today outside the Prime Minister's office.
Make this visit history. Make Prime Minister Netanyahu, make Hamas, make all the countries involved to sign this deal that will bring this war to an end.
Canada announcing it will recognize the state of Palestine next month at the UN General Assembly meeting, citing the unfolding humanitarian catastrophe, the hunger crisis growing by the day. France said it too would do the same, while the United Kingdom says they would recognize Palestinian statehood if Israel doesn't agree to a ceasefire and implement more aid. Israel condemning the moves, saying it rewards Hamas terrorism. But the world is reacting to images like this. Gaza in the grips of near famine, according to UN experts. Israel has announced a series of measures to facilitate the delivery of more international aid, but aid workers say much more is needed. Today, scores of Palestinians rushing to grab what they can from food aid dropped from planes as border crossings are closed. This is complete humiliation, this man says. We die just so we can obtain a bag of rice or a kilo of flour for our children. And over just the last 24 hours, some 111 Palestinians have been killed, 91 of whom were killed near aid distribution centers, says the Hamas-run Gaza Ministry of Health. Matt Rivers, ABC News, New York.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration announces major changes to warning labels on prescription painkillers. Opioid medications will now carry stronger safety labels that better reflect the risks of long-term use. The updated labels will also remove language that could be seen as supporting indefinite use and include new warnings about dose-related risks, withdrawal, and overdose reversal drugs like naloxone. They will also highlight potential interactions with nerve medications, as well as rare but serious risks like brain injury after overdose. Omega-6 fatty acids play a key role in keeping your body running smoothly. You can find them in common foods like vegetable oils, butters, nuts, and seeds.
But the big question is, do these kinds of medications cause inflammation or they help fight it? With more, here's ABC's Zoreen Shah.
Indiana University researchers wondered if omega-6 fatty acids found in seed and canola oils might increase inflammation, which has been linked to health conditions such as heart disease and diabetes. After examining health data from nearly 2,000 people, the opposite turned out to be true. Those who consumed the most omega-6 fatty acids actually had lower levels of inflammation. While this is a preliminary study, it does suggest that the fats in seed oils might reduce inflammation, not worsen it. So experts suggest it is okay to reach for that canola oil while cooking, or add some seeds into your snack mixes, or spice up your smoothies with a spoonful of sunflower butter or a sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds. As long as you don't overdo it, experts suggest a moderate amount of seed oil in your diet may actually be good for you. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
The CDC says more U.S. kindergartners are skipping required vaccines. Nearly 4% had an exemption last school year, meaning around 138,000 children missed at least one state-mandated shot. Vaccine coverage, including for measles, was lower than in previous years, and most recent measles cases have been in unvaccinated children. Right now, most states still allow vaccine exemptions for religious or personal beliefs.
A big community celebration in Beeville is helping students get ready to head back to school. The Back to School Bash is happening this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Coastal Bend College. Students can grab free backpacks and school supplies, plus enjoy food trucks, vendors, and special guests. It's all happening at the James R. Doherty Student Union Building, thanks to Telemundo Victoria, Coastal Bend College, and the city of Beeville. And the weather for that, Mac, will be?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be very sunny and warm, so being indoors is a good place. Right about now, we're at 80 degrees at this hour of the night. Our high today managed to get up to 96, and believe it or not, that's where we're supposed to be this time of year. It just seems so warm. That 96 might have been a little bit better because of the cloud deck that rolled in. We'll be talking about the chance for rain for the next couple of days coming up after this. I don't know if you noticed it, but right at about sundown, we had a real nice sunset because of the high-level clouds that are over us right now. Those clouds rolled in from Louisiana most of the day. You can see them sort of rolling in down here. What happened? Well, remember we had the big dome of high pressure on top of us. Well, that's gone, and so now we've got this little trough right here. You see this yellow line? That is announcing lower pressure, which is actually moving onto the Texas coast, giving us clouds, little instability, and a better chances of getting some shower activity. And also, this frontal system was the big savior. This was the cavalry at the end of the movie. It came and knocked down the big heat wave. Chicago was in the 70s today after being in the 90s for the last 3 or 4 days. So there's a big break for them. Now, what about us? Here's Houston. Here's I-10, and what do you see coming down the road? Right there in Lake Charles. Big thunderstorms. So some of that moisture is going to be drifting into our area. I'm not saying those thunderstorms will arrive. They'll probably decrease overnight, but tomorrow we'll have the heating, we'll have the moisture in the air, and I do believe we'll see a few little pop-up showers for the next couple of days over the weekend. So right now they're getting the heaviest activity right there going into East Texas. Boom, it looks like Beaumont's going to be next for that, and I'm sure something in Houston will be getting that. For us, we don't have any of that activity right now, but tomorrow afternoon I think it's going to be interesting, and that's your Friday. Advisories right there in the Dallas area are for ozone because of pollution that's being built up, but you might not can tell here, but I can tell. All of the big heat advisories have finally collapsed over the East Coast as that front came through, but it brought a northerly wind, and that northerly wind is bringing in the smoke from the wildfires up in Canada. And so Chicago throughout the upper Midwest are getting some really bad air because of the smoke hanging in the air. So back here to the coastal bend, we are looking at a high heat index of 107 tomorrow. And right there, 107 all the way to 106, all the way the next 5 days, that's where the heat and the humidity get to fairly heavy in the afternoon. So you just need to take it easy and try and stay cool, especially in the middle part of the day. Probably going to see another bout of fog in the morning hours, as you see right about there. This one's going to be a little bit less in time. It's going to come in about 6 a.m. and hang out till about 8 a.m. So if you're an early morning person, well, I'd consider that you're going to be dealing with that. Other than that, we're taking a look at something interesting. Here we are, right about here. You're going to see the date where we are. There's today, right? August the 1st, that's tomorrow. Well, here's the peak of the hurricane season. So it's really not until September the 10th that we are at the average peak of the storm season. At this point in time, we have had nothing out there, which is interesting because we're going to continue probably the next 7 days, maybe 10, of no tropical activity. There's too much dust in the atmosphere. This is going to be an interesting one to see what happens for the next couple of weeks. So tomorrow in Port Lavaca, those of you getting down there, you're going to have a 96, lots of sunshine, and hopefully a couple of little afternoon pop-up showers. That's the only thing that's going to cool us down. 97 out in Cuero, and for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 20%, not a big one. And then next week, just plain old sunny hot and temperature staying in the upper 90s. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Well, it's playoff time for the Generals. Is that right, Max?
That's right there, Mac. And the Torrey Generals tonight, all they got to do is see if they had to get one win tonight and they get to go back-to-back TCL championship games. Will they? I'll tell you that coming up. Sports. The Generals in a must-win game tonight in order to advance to the TCL championship there for the Saturday night. It's only fitting to give our athlete of the week tonight, the Generals pitcher, Hayden Tronson. Here's more of our athlete of the week.
Tonight's athlete of the week goes to Generals relief pitcher Hayden Tronson. He helped shut out the Bombers' offense as the Generals walked it off on Tuesday night to get the Game 1 playoff victory versus the Bombers. He became the fourth pitcher on the mound for the Generals. He relieved Lambert, Hunter Nicholas, and Merrick Sears. Tronson mentioned he had no sense of nerves, and he's glad he got the job done.
There's no nerves. It's go play baseball. I mean, you might be a little amped up. I was amped up for sure, but I wouldn't say it was nerves. It's just go play baseball, hold those guys to one run, the best of your ability, and man, if it comes to zero, that's even sweeter.
This playoff series is much sweeter for Tronson as he previously played for the Bombers for his first exposure in the TCL. He describes how his experience was with the Bombers and how he moved over to the Generals.
I mean, I spent my first summer down there, and it was fine, whatever. I spent the second half there. But then at school, they told me to come here last year out of JUCO and spent the full summer here.
With him being a part of the Generals now, he helped them win the TCL championship last season and helps to do the same this year. Head coach Mike Oros said he wasn't planning to start Tronson there for Game 1, but is glad that he came in.
We really didn't want to use him tonight. We wanted to go with 3 guys, and we got the first 3 and weren't expecting extra innings. And when you do, you have to have someone in the pen that has experience and that has the longevity to go multiple innings.
Tronson and the Generals now hope to reach back-to-back TCL championships with hopefully winning this winner-take-all game later tonight at Riverside Stadium. We'll see if the Generals can get the job done, and congrats to Hayden Tronson for being this week's Athlete of the Week.
All right, now from highlighting our athlete of the week to the game itself, the Generals, can they translate and get this on the field? Last night they lost their 5-0 to the Bombers, only had 2 hits. Well, tonight it felt like the same because they only got 3 hits in the game and the Bombers only get 2 hits, but they only just need 1 run. The final score would be 1-0. The Generals would win when Damian Whitfield, person I talked to earlier today, got that RBI single in the top of the 3rd inning, bottom of the 3rd inning, to get the win. And then also there, Blaine Zeppelin dominated there on the mound. Also got 6 Ks through 5 innings there for the Generals. So with that in mind, the Generals are going to face, it is official, they're going to face the Baton Rouge Rougarou out there in Baton Rouge. That game is going to be there Saturday. It's going to start there at 7:05 p.m. Over there to our weekly fishing report, where it's going to be really hot this weekend. So if I advise you, if you're going to go fishing, to wear that bucket hat, stay hydrated. Again, look at first we go out there at Coletto Creek. The waters are fair there at 87 degrees. Bass fishing is fair. The fish are holding around that timber in that 8 to 10 feet of water area, and some of those extended points as well. They're producing the fish out there earlier in the daytime. But around Port O'Connor, the water is good at 85 degrees, and trout good early in the morning before the sunrise. Kind of gets up there outside of the jetties area. We're using that live croaker, so trout are biting too in that area. So keep that in mind if you're going to go fishing this weekend. And finally, tomorrow night, the Victoria Community Center will be a top MMA boxing event in tap or scrap. This will be 12 fights on the card here, at the main event being the featherweight title between Gonzalez and Johnson. But there are a couple other local fighters competing, with the Victoria Gators head coach and fighter there, Jaden Williams, competing versus Emmanuel Salinas. And for the lightweight bout, it's going to be former athlete of the week and Charles Valdez facing Vasquez in the bantamweight bout. And there's only 1 female fight on the card. It's going to be between Crystal Miller and again Hilbeck there. After the weigh-ins there earlier today, I caught up with all 3 of them. Talk about how they feel going into these fights tomorrow night.
Whatever's going to happen is already going to happen, and just being able to get the win here in Victoria is just be icing on the cake. Especially, like I said, against a worthy opponent in my hometown. You know, for the community, I think it'll just bring a lot of eyes here. And
I have worked hard for this. I really am coming out here to show my skills and get the experience of an octagon, because I've only really experienced matches in a cage.
Really good. I know it's going to be more standing than anything, which is my game's my wheelhouse. I love the stand-up game. I'm more of a Muay Thai guy.
All 3 of these fighters are hoping to get big wins there tomorrow night. It's going to be at the Victoria Community Center, with, again, the gates opening at 5:30 p.m. with the first fight starting at 7. That's going to do it here in sports. Shauna, back to you.
All right, thank you, Max. Well, some breaking news out of Gonzales County. We're just getting word that officials there are looking for a missing child. She is, I believe, 8 years old and has been missing since early June. They believe that she's in the custody of her mother, Erin Gartman and her stepfather, who do not have custody of her. The child has been placed in the custody of Child Protective Services. They believe that the mother may be in Hays County, Guadalupe County, or Gonzales County. So again, Gonzales County officials are putting out an alert about a missing child that may have been abducted by her parents who do not have custody.
Okay, and we'll keep updated on that. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. They're big, powerful, and crucial to Texas wetlands. Now, researchers in North Texas are tracking alligators to protect ecosystems and educate the public.
Well, hundreds of people in inflatable T-Rex costumes are competing for the title of world's fastest dinosaur at the T-Rex World Championship races in Seattle. That was another competition you were just seeing there. The unusual competition makes its debut on ESPN's The Ocho. Competitors fly in from across the country to race at Emerald Downs Racetrack. Some even parachute to the ground in costume before racing to the finish line. The event features 65 hours of all unique sports programming. This is just one piece. Despite blazing sun and limited visibility inside the costume, racers compete for the championship.
Spanning the globe to bring you some really crazy stuff. A team in North Texas is surveying 1,000 acres of wetlands, tracking alligators as part of a 3-year research project at the Fort Worth Nature Center. This week, they're locating nests to better understand how gators breed and where they live, using boats, drones, and foot patrols. Researchers say alligators are key to healthy wetlands, and without them, important water systems could suffer. The research also helps educate the public about these native Texas reptiles. American alligators can be found in wetlands from Texas to North Carolina. Or in the case of our meteorologist, Jacob Lozano, they could be found on the road into Riverside Park on Saturday morning. Yes, he said he had never run faster. I wonder why. I wonder why.
He took pictures of it. It was surreal.
That was a big one, too.
What shall we name the alligator down at Riverside?
Well, I told him I'm glad he didn't wear his Izod collection shirt. Would have felt, oh, homeboy.
We're related. Well, folks, if you're going jogging, do be cautious with the afternoon sun. Do it early in the morning or late in the day. As we get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I do hope that we get a few little afternoon showers popping around. Other than that, it's just going to be hot as temperatures stay in the upper 90s.
Hot, hot, hot. All right. Well, a political race in Somerville, Massachusetts has gained national attention online. Dozens of cats are running for mayor of the community bike path, with other species now joining the competition. The unusual election started when Barry the cat promised to make cats outside again. Orange Cat then challenged Barry's unopposed victory. Now the ballot includes dogs, a parrot, guinea pig, snake, and tortoise. The original news story has received nearly 10 million views on social media. Online voting closes September 5th for this honorary position. And they're just mayor of the bike path, not the city.
No confusion.
Just the bike path there.
And the owners are spending money on signs.
Yes.
And they're putting all the votes in a special catalog.
A catalog.
Just to make sure, you know. Yeah.
Marking their territory.
That's right.
So, well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Join 25 News Now, sunrise at 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.